Today we're talking smaller garden ponds. Hey everybody, it's Jack from Atlantis Water Gardens. Today we're going to talk about our Tranquility series ponds, which range from 7x10 up to 10x14. These are a great addition to most any yard if you're looking to have some beautiful aquatic plants, maybe some goldfish, and the sights and sounds of water. I could hear this coming up the driveway. This looks so crazy. For such a small space, there's a lot going on here and I absolutely love it. This started out as like an 8x10, 8x12 pond, but we did some really detailed stonework in here because this is a memorial garden. The homeowner lost her father and she wanted to do something special in this space here. So we brought in a water feature along with this small patio, sitting area, and there's this plaque to honor her dad, Thomas. This was a bit challenging. The yard actually sloped away towards the driveway, so we had to construct a retaining wall on the backside just to get this pond in here. Up on the very corner there, we went up another 2 feet with our block work so that we could create some waterfalls. We're starting up top with a signature 2500 aquascape biofalls. That's what's keeping this pond so clear. It's getting some help though. These plants look like they're on steroids. They've got some massive, massive fish inside this pond. I wouldn't recommend doing fish this size in a pond this small, but those plants are doing the heavy lifting. The fact that these waterfalls are running, just trickling, running very slow, is actually a good thing for a pond in this situation. We're moving through that filtration super slow, lots of contact time. Then, once it hits the roots of these plants, I mean, look at the size of that taro. That is humongous, and you can tell it's being fed well. These large fish are creating waste, going through the system, and the root systems of all these plants are just sucking it up. This is one lily right here, and Jamie told me he has pruned this thing probably a dozen times this season, and you can see just how massive it is. It's feeding well, along with everything else that's here. We've got some thalia, this iris, the banana plant, and of course I mentioned the taro that is just, it's got leaves on it that are every bit of 18 inches to 2 feet. This looks spectacular with all this stonework. We've got some cut flagging that I remember Bowley doing the chipping here on this one here to really bring it right up to the edge of the pond and straight down. You can really enjoy these fish down here. The bench was put in as a reflection point, somewhere you could sit and kind of just be in the space. Even though this is not a very large water feature, it's making a humongous impact, especially in an area like this. The sound coming off these smaller waterfalls is all being corralled and sent towards the living space, which is this big deck. We've got a grilling area here. They spent a lot of time here. I can imagine if you open the doors or windows in the house, that sound is just going to permeate right inside and just bring your energy level right where it needs to be, which is a place of serenity and peace. Tranquility, if you will. That's the package of the pond. Welcome to Rockaway, New Jersey. We've got a creative spot right here off the driveway behind this retaining wall where we've installed a 6x8 pond with a beautiful stream of waterfall. This was just a garden space that wasn't doing a whole lot. We talked with the homeowners, they decided, hey, we'd love to have some sort of water feature here. This is where they enter the house, so it made a lot of sense to have something when they walk out the door. They've got a little seating area here. They could sit next to the pond and really enjoy the sights and sounds of a water feature. We were able to get a 6x8 pond in this space with a beautiful waterfall. We're starting about 5 feet back from where the end of the pond is, dropping down 2 tiers, beautiful stream pooling area. That's a great spot for birds, dragonflies, other animals to come use this water source for bathing and for drinking. Then we complemented this water feature with a couple upgrades like aquatic planting and underwater LED lighting. They did a great job landscaping around the feature. We've got some beautiful perennials here. That maple is going to be gorgeous as the years go on. It's going to drape down right next to where that waterfall enters the pond. I love when people put in garden accents like this really nice stone with a great saying on it. This is a really neat garden area with the surrounding wall. What's cool about situations like this is obviously they've set these tables up because they probably spent some time here. But you can sit here, have a totally normal conversation and not get overpowered by the sound of cascading water. It's tranquil, it's peaceful, it fills this space really nicely. I love creative spots like this. It gives us a chance to really stretch ourselves and make something work in a small space, and you can see what the results are.
You say everything, everything, everything's just perfect. Everything, everything, everything's fine. You say everything, everything, everything's just perfect. Everything, everything, everything's fine. From day to day, I see it more up in the clouds, down on your floor.
Welcome to Mars Plains, New Jersey. I'm here with my son Anthony. We are enjoying this beautiful 7x10 Tranquility Pond.
You say everything, everything, everything's just perfect. Everything, everything, everything's fine. You say everything, everything, everything's just perfect.
What I love about this scenario is the way everything's configured. The back of the house is facing out. You can see right out the kitchen doors to this beautiful little pond. That waterfall is one of my favorite small pond waterfalls because of the boulders that we used here.
I really like this one. I mean, like you said, it's been here for many, many years. It's had plenty of time to really get all the plant life and like landscape to really grow in and disguise it. Like the way that this plant on this side over here just kind of took over and really softened the whole thing up. The lily in here is doing so well. It gets some nice flowers during the year. I mean, everything around the pond really grew in and it looks very natural.
I think this pond's like 10 or 12 years old. I can remember when we built it. Actually, you were here, right?
That was many years ago now.
Yeah, you were much smaller then. And look at the way it looks after all this time. Like you mentioned with the plants, the landscape really grew in nicely where this is just fit in. It looks like it's springing out from the base of that tree, doesn't it?
Right? It's not like built in, it's not like this ugly hillside or this ugly volcano that you're building the waterfall into. It's so natural and just working with the existing landscape and terrain. It looks so cool and natural, and then the way the boulders carry out on either end just into the landscape for more garden beds and stuff like that. It looks so cool. One
of the things you mentioned was it's not like a volcano. We did have an existing hillside here to work with. From the top of the water surface in the pond up to where the waterfall starts, it's only about like 2 feet of elevation change, maybe 2.5. So we didn't have a whole lot of height to work with, but spreading it out with those pooling areas and the way it twists and turns. I love that second waterfall where the 2 big rocks are kind of pinching together and you get that V gap in the middle and that water funnels through there. And then we're actually sneaking a little bit of water around that bottom falls. It's just like a little bit, you can't even see the bottom waterfall coming out, but you can see the motion of the water behind that iris. It looks spectacular. And those hyacinths are doing real well up in there and in all those corners of like the waterways. And what's cool is you see the water flowing around those hyacinths. See some of that white water like bubbling around there. It really is such a beautiful, like naturalistic scene.
Right, and it's real nice too. Like I can't even really, from where I'm sitting, I can't see really any other waterfall, but I can still hear it, and it's making such an impact in the space back here, really filling it with that nice sound of water just kind of crashing and rolling over the rocks.
That's almost like a forgotten part of building water features is the sound. It's such an important, integral part of the finished result. You're conducting a symphony with the way you construct waterfalls. So we're falling into pooling areas here, and we're not crashing off of a bunch of big rocks. That changes things drastically, because now that we have that tranquil, like low bass sound where it's just you can sit out here, have a nice normal conversation, and you're not competing with the sound of a waterfall. I see big waterfalls in like commercial settings or like catering halls and stuff like that, and they have to make an impact drawing people in or wanting to take pictures in front of these big waterfalls. But it's not something I would want to live with on a daily basis, because it's just too hard to really relax next to a huge waterfall like that. It actually brings your energy up to a level where it's almost a little bit of anxiety.
There's nothing worse than having to talk over something.
Yeah.
And it's nice. This is just a nice, soft, it's subtle, it's relaxing, it's soothing. Like you could sit out here with your dinner at night and a cup of coffee in the morning and just relax for you either go to work or you get home at night.
This is a perfect example of a nice, smaller size pond making a big impact in the space.
Exactly.